Okay, so we'll just look at these one by one. This says, consider this function f of x equals -2 times the quantity x minus 2 squared plus 1. That's this graph here. Graph the function h if h is the translations of 2 units left and 2 units up. So when we're talking about a left or right shift, that's going to be something added or subtracted directly to the x. So in this case, it's going to occur inside the parentheses, inside the function x squared. And it's always going to be opposite of what you think. So if I were to add 2, you would think it would move me to the right 2, but it'll actually move me to the left 2, opposite of what you think it will do. And up and down shifts happen to the entire function. Or you can think of it as like outside of the function. So it'll happen here. Inside will be here, or left and right will be here, up and down will be here. This thing out in front just changes the stretch or the reflection, opening up or opening down. So when we're just talking about shifting, we're just going to apply things to the inside and to the outside. So if this, I'm going to take the original, -2 squared plus 1. I'm going to leave a little space here. So it says if h is the translations of 2 units left, 2 units left would be directed to the x, opposite of what I think. So left would be adding a number. So I'm going to add 2 units directly to the x, or in other words, inside the square. So that's where the 2 units to the left comes from. 2 units up is going to be added to the outside of the function. And that works the way you think it would. Up is positive, down is negative. So now if we just simplify this, this is -2 x. These cancel out. So this is just going to be x squared plus 3. So it looks like our final equations, oops, I want to get rid of the parentheses. Our final equation is going to be h of x equals -2x squared plus 3. So the turning point is currently 2, 1. So if I can just shift the turning point, just the directions it's telling me to shift it. 2 units to the left, 1, 2. 2 units up, 1, 2. There's my new turning point, right at 0, 3. And the equation, we've given the equation right there. So to graph it, I think I have this up. Let me go back. I'm just going to clear all. Start at my vertex, which is 0, 3, and kind of mimic the shape here. So you'll see, if I start here, the next point that I can use is down 2 blocks and over 1. So I'm going to go down 2 blocks and over 1. So it looks like that's the shape I want. Okay. Now the next one says, consider the function f of x equals this, passing through the point -3, -2. Graph the function h if h is a translation of 3 units right and 3 units down. So we don't really need to graph this. You can if you want. But all we need to know is that it goes through this point currently, and then I'm going to figure out what the translated graph looks like. So again, we're going to have h. So I'll write h of x equals, I'm going to rewrite this thing, 3x plus 2, leave a space, squared minus 5. I'll apply my translation. So I'm translating it 3 units to the right. So that's going to be left to right, directly to the x, inside the square, opposite of what you think, so it's going to be minus 3. 3 to the right you would think is positive, but it's minus. And 3 units down works the way you think, so I'm going to subtract 3 from the outside. So if I simplify this, I get h of x equals 3. This is going to be x minus 1 squared minus 8. So we know the original goes through this point, -3, -2. So if I plot that real quick, -3, -2. So that's from, this is on my original graph. So if I want to find a point on my new graph, I have to translate it the way it tells me. 3 units to the right, 1, 2, 3. 3 units down, 1, 2, 3. So that point's going to be on my graph. Don't need that. This point's on my graph. Now all I need is my vertex. What is the vertex of this thing that I just figured out? Well, this -1 is going to move me 1 unit to the right, and this -8 is going to move me 8 units down. So I have 1, -8. There's my vertex. So if I want to graph this, start at the vertex, and there's my second point. Start at 1, -8, go to 0, -5. Let me see if I can find that graph. Yep. So if I start at 1, -8, and go to 0, -5, there should be my graph. Just like that. And then you have the coordinate of the turning point now is this. This is the coordinate of the turning point, 1, -8. And the equation of h we have given up here, right there. Okay, now this says consider the function this. H is the translation of 2 units to the right and 5 units up. So I'm going to rewrite it. H of x equals -3 x minus 3 with a space squared plus 5. 2 units to the right, that's going to be -2 on the inside. 5 units up is going to be +5. So the new equation is going to be -3 x minus 5 plus 10. Oh, and this is squared. And that's it. Just remember, left and right is inside the parentheses, opposite of what you think. Up and down is outside the parentheses, the way you think it should work.